Thanks for joining us, and here are stories making headlines at this hour. I am Perpetual Fasami Peter. The death toll in the Ikoyi building collapse has risen to 36. The acting coordinator of the Lagos Territorial Office of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, Ibrahim Familoye, said 33 of the deceased are men, with 3 women. Tough times await culprits involved in the collapse of the 21-story building as Lagos Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu on Wednesday vowed to prosecute anyone found culpable. The governor promised that drastic action will follow the reports of the panel he raised to probe the monumental disaster. The Lagos State Fire and Rescue Service has completely averted the looming danger of gas leakage at the Ikeja axis of the state. The incident, which was reported on Wednesday at 7:14 hours, occurred in front of Awolowo House, Awolowo Way, inward of Akron Avenue, Ikeja. This led to the deployment of a Lausa fire crew to douse the gas fumes. On arrival at the scene, the crew discovered that a gas pipeline belonging to GasLink was accidentally punctured and started gushing out. In a beautiful stall any secondary incident, the fumes emanating from the gas leakage was blanketed with chemical foam compound, just as the area was swiftly cordoned off and traffic diverted, while inhabitants were sensitized not to make naked fire. The situation has been brought under control as the gas pipeline has been depressurized. The Vice Chairman, Nigerian Bar Association, Gwagwalada Branch, Abuja, has called for increased security surveillance in the Federal Capital Territory to help address security challenges. Agbefo made a call on Thursday in an interview where he condemned the recent abduction of some lecturers of the University of Abuja. He called for the immediate release of all the abducted persons, including Umeza John Obansa, a member of the NBA Gwagwalada Branch, and his father, Professor Obansa James, of the Economics Department. The legal practitioner said there is the urgent need for security agencies to step up surveillance, especially aerial surveillance, through adequate patrol in order to secure lives and properties of the people. Similarly, the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has given security operatives 48 hours to rescue 6 persons abducted on Tuesday by gunmen at the University of Abuja staff quarters. Chairperson of the University of Abuja ASU chapter, Dr. Kasim Umar, said lecturers have stopped going to classrooms because of the incident which has traumatized them. The gunmen abducted 6 persons, including 2 professors, a deputy registrar, and 3 family members during an early hour raid at the university staff quarters on Tuesday. Umar lamented that internal security in the university is overwhelmed, saying that there have been a lot of kidnappings. He noted that until recently, when fencing was embarked upon along the highway into the city center, there was no perimeter fencing from behind or sides of the university's vast land. Security operatives have reportedly killed many bandits in an aerial assault on identified bandit enclaves in Chikun Council of Kaduna State. Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs Samuel Arunwa said yesterday in a statement that the bandit camps were also destroyed during the airstrike. The statement stated that another successful outing has been reported by security forces as an unspecified number of bandits were neutralized during an aerial assault on identified bandit enclaves around the boundary area with the neighboring state in Chikun local government area. The Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps Enugu State Command says it is deploying no fewer than 350 personnel for the forthcoming Anambra governorship election. The Anambra gubernatorial poll will be held on Saturday, November 6 under INEC supervision. The Public Relations Officer of the Command, Chief Superintendent of Corps CSC Danny Manuel, disclosed this on Thursday in Enugu. Manuel said that the command was also deploying 15 operational vehicles to ensure hitch-free movement of its personnel while carrying out their election duty in Anambra. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board on Wednesday remitted a sum of 3.51 billion naira to the federal government as part of its operating surplus for 2021. The 2021 remittance, according to a statement by the board, is in line with the registrar's avowed commitment to prudent management of public resources. The statement signed by the JAMB spokesperson, Dr. Fabian Benjamin, said probity coupled with the adoption of international best practices make for cost-effective operational processes and attendant savings to yield those humongous remittances to government coffers. He said it has been the norm rather than the exception in the last 6 years, beginning from 2016 when the Registrar of JAMB, Professor Ishak Oloyede, remitted a sum of 7 billion naira and repeated the same in subsequent years. Motorists plying the Olorunda Aba, Akobo, Ujiri, Igbo, Oloyin to Ojo area of Ibadan have commended Governor Seyi Makinde over the construction of the road leading to these areas. The motorists, who are mostly residents of the affected communities, also appealed to the governor to quickly complete the road to enhance effective vehicular movement through Akobo during Olorunda Aba Road, which is about 30 kilometers away from Ojo and had been in a deplorable state before now. While speaking on the level of completion of the work, the project manager, Akinola Femi, said the project, when completed, will see to the ease of movement of commuters from that area to popular Ojo Market, which also leads to Oyo Town.
This road has much problem. During rainy season now, if somebody is passing here, you can be feeling your back pain because before you cross, you can see that there's one stone there. It is people that do it so that we can be enjoying driving on the road like that. The road, as they start doing it, actually we will still enjoy it a little bit. But what I can even say that if government can be able to do something that they can be able to do more than this, so that the doors will not be disturbing people.
Coming up next is the African scene, but first we're going to a quick break. Stay with us.
We bounce from skincare products to skincare products, from spa to spa. Looking for that ideal solution. I found the solution. And it's Blemiville Skincare and Spa. My name is Neil, and I'm proud to be a part of the Blemiville family.
Glad to know you're still with us. South Africa's African National Congress, ANC, on Wednesday was heading for its worst election result since taking power in 1994. Taking less than half of votes in local polls, a top party official described as a message to shape up. With results in over 80% of more than 23,000 polling stations, the ANC had 46% of the national vote, down from 54% in 2016, itself the worst result yet. Party officials acknowledged public anger over poor services and corruption. Turnout was at a new low of 47%, though still higher than in many Western countries' municipal elections from 58% in 2016, initial Electoral Commission figures showed. It was unclear to what extent the COVID-19 pandemic played a role in keeping people away, but ANC officials saw clear evidence of voters being fed up. Algeria has accused its arch-rival Morocco of killing 3 Algerians on a desert highway as tensions escalate between the neighbors over contested Western Sahara. 3 Algerians were assassinated in a barbaric strike on their trucks, Algeria's presidency said in a statement quoted by the APS state news agency. It reported they had been traveling between the Mauritanian capital, northeast to the Algerian city of Ouargla. Several factors indicate that the Moroccan occupation forces in Western Sahara carried out this cowardly assassination with a sophisticated weapon, the statement added. The killings will go unpunished. Now foreign news. The European Parliament's first official delegation to Taiwan said on Thursday the diplomatically isolated island is not alone and called for a bolder action to strengthen EU-Taiwan ties as Taipei faces rising pressure from Beijing. Taiwan, which does not have formal diplomatic ties with any European nations except tiny Vatican City, is keen to deepen relations with members of the European Union. The visit comes at a time when China has ramped up military pressure, including repeated missions by Chinese warplanes near democratic Taiwan, which Beijing claims as its own and has not ruled out taking by force. The Ukrainian parliament on Thursday voted to appoint President Volodymyr Zelensky's nominee, Oleksiy Reznikov, as the new defense minister. A 55-year-old former lawyer and Deputy Prime Minister Reznikov will replace Andrei Taran, who resigned this week after his track record on reforms was criticized by lawmakers from both the ruling and opposition parties. The appointment comes as Ukraine said Russia had left military units near Ukraine's border after exercises, with the number of Russian troops in the area now totaling 90,000. The United States said the Russian troop movements were significant but not overtly aggressive. Coming up next is Business News with Bolanli.
Hello and welcome to Business News. I am Omobolanle Adeshui. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, has disclosed that it spent a total of 864.7 billion naira between January and September subsidizing premium bottled spirit, popularly known as petrol. This amount indicates 31% of the total revenue of 2.7 trillion naira generated by the corporation between January and September. A report submitted by the corporation to the Federation Account Allocation Committee at its last meeting revealed that the NNPC did not incur petrol subsidy costs in January but spent 25.3 billion naira on subsidizing the product in February. The subsidy saw to 60.3 billion naira and 61.96 billion naira and 126.29 billion naira in March, April, and May, respectively. The NNPC has expended 164.33 billion naira, 103.28 billion naira, 173.13 billion naira, and 149.28 billion naira, subsidizing PMS in June, July, August, and September, respectively. Recall that no provision was made for fuel subsidy in the 2021 budget. The Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, yesterday warned against commencing new roads and other projects until significant progress has been made with the ongoing projects. Fashola, while appearing before the House of Representatives Committee on Works in Abuja yesterday to defend the 2022 budget proposed by his ministry, also said that the federal government is currently undertaking a total of 854 highway contracts of over 7 trillion naira. The minister further stated that the major challenge to the ministry's effort towards the timely completion of projects was insufficient budgetary provision and releases for projects to sustain annual cash flow requirement levels. He therefore appealed that those limited resources be concentrated on the completion of ongoing projects. The Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, and other telecoms regulators under the auspices of West African Telecoms Regulators Assembly, WATRA, are set to develop technical and regulatory modalities aimed at combating rising wave of electronic frauds and standardizing regional roaming tariffs in the sub-region. This was disclosed at a two-day meeting organized by WATRA in collaboration with the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, which held in Abuja. The meeting, which was attended by representatives of telecoms regulators from countries across West Africa, provided a platform for key participants and stakeholders to deliberate on building a unified market in telecommunications services in West Africa to combat roaming and cyber-related frauds and achieve the standardization of roaming tariffs among ECOWAS member states. Addressing stakeholders at the meeting, Executive Vice Chairman of NCC, Professor Omar Garba Dambata, who is also the chairman of WATRA, underscored the centralization of meeting by emphasizing that as businesses move, the fraudsters are also going digital. Dambata, who was represented by NCC's Director, Technical Standards and Network Integrity, Bako Wakil, said based on these facts and in order to give West African citizens and businesses the confidence to fully take advantage of the enormous benefits of information and communications technology, ICT, there was a need for regulators to tame and outpace the fraudsters. All over the world, organizations are expected to efficiently and effectively provide services and goods. But in most cases, these organizations fail to deliver quality goods and services. Despite some efforts made by government agencies to improve and monitor the quality of products and services in Nigeria and the existence of several laws to bring defaulters to book, enforcement remains a huge challenge. Earlier this morning on Business Breakfast, Vivian Ngozi Ani, managing partner at Highnet Resources Limited, corroborated this.
First, the Enabling Act first came into existence in 1971, and then it was later amended in 2015 to what we now see as Standards Organization of Nigeria. So there is no lack of laws, or there is lack of laws. That's what I'm trying to say. The laws are there. The problem is what happens between the law and the consumer. Don't forget that it is human beings that enforce laws. It's not ghosts, it's not angels from heaven.
True.
So if human beings refuse to enforce laws, or human beings are hindered, let me use that word, hindered from enforcing laws, then there's a problem.
And he also emphasized the need for willpower on the part of consumers and regulators as well as the government to ensure optimum quality in the provision of goods and services in order to encourage the patronage of made-in-Nigeria goods. Well, that's it on Business News. I am Omobolanle Adeshui. It's now back to Perpetua.
Thank you, Mobolandi. Coming up next is Entertainment News with Michelle.
Hello and welcome to Entertainment News. I am Michelle Abanum. Hollywood actor Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson said he would not use real guns again in his movies after his friend and fellow actor Alec Baldwin accidentally shot and killed a cinematographer on a film set in New Mexico last month. Helena Hutchins was killed on October 21st by a bullet discharged from a gun Baldwin was using to rehearse a scene on the set of Western movie Rust. Baldwin had been told by an assistant director that the gun was cold, an industry term meaning it is safe to use. Johnson, who was out in Los Angeles attending the world premiere of his new Netflix box, The Red Notice, with co-stars Ryan Reynolds and Gal Gadot, said his production company 7 Bucks Production would no longer use real guns ever again. Next, Nollywood actress Etinosa Idemudia has cried over the absence of regulatory bodies in the entertainment industry. The actress detailed her 2 cents via Instagram, insisting that the presence of working bodies would help boost the reputation of actors and entertainers. According to Idemudia, filmmakers work twice as hard as any other profession in Nigeria and should be treated with equal respect and recognition. Currently, Nollywood has over a dozen regulatory bodies, including the Actors Guild of Nigeria, AGN. However, membership has not been made compulsory. Over the years, non-members have criticized the policies of the existing bodies, claiming that most have not sufficiently proved that they represent the interest of industry practitioners. That does it on Entertainment News. It's now back to Michael.
Coming up next is sports news. Stay with us. We're going to have a very quick break now, and when we return, we'll bring you the sports news. Stay with us.
Swift Dry Cleaners Limited, professional dry cleaners, best in dry cleaning and laundry services that meets the needs of our consumers. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Yeah, for clean wash and quick delivery. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Dry cleaners. Clean wash, quick delivery.
True unripe plantain flour is 100% natural flour gotten from the processing of unripe plantain. It contains no addictive and has a net content of 500 grams. True unripe plantain flour contains vitamin A, B6 and C. It is gluten-free and rich in calcium. Consuming true unripe plantain flour helps to build and strengthen stronger bones and can be a great meal for diabetic patients. It decreases your chances of constipation as it has a high fiber content and provides you with a low-fat diet. Here are some steps to prepare your true unripe plantain flour. Firstly, mix true unripe plantain flour with hot water in a pot and gradually add water till you achieve desired thickness. Place over medium heat and turn very well for 4 to 5 minutes to get the right texture. Mold into a ball and place in a bowl and allow to cool. Serve with your choice of soup. True unripe plantain flour can be eaten with any variety of soup, be it your ofe oha, ofe onugbu, begiri, ewedu, or your miyan kuka. To get your true unripe plantain flour, contact us at 12 Olowera Isheri Road by First Welder bus stop off Omole Phase 2, Olowera, Lagos, Nigeria, or call 070-6663-8213 or 081-6397-4447. Distributors are needed nationwide.
Most people don't understand the magic of a perfect skin, the allure of a well-pampered skin. We bounce from skincare products to skincare products, from spa to spa. Looking for that ideal solution. I found the solution. And it's Blemiville Skincare and Spa. My name is Neil, and I'm proud to be a part of the Blemiville family.
Sports now. Manchester United defender Raphael Varane will be out for a month after he suffered a hamstring injury against Atalanta. The Frenchman, who only recently returned from injury, will now miss United's Premier League match at home to Manchester City on Saturday, as well as the post-international break matches against Watford and Villarreal. Raphael Varane joined United from Real Madrid in the summer and has made 9 appearances so far this season, in which they have conceded 9 goals. In the 6 matches where Varane has not featured this time, United have conceded 14 goals. Antonio Conte will take charge of Tottenham Hotspur for the first time against Vitesse Arnhem on Thursday after his visa was approved. The 52-year-old oversaw his first Tottenham training session earlier this week at Hotspur Way, but was waiting for his visa to be approved so he could officially take charge of Thursday's Europa League conference game. The Italian signed an 18-month deal worth £20 million a year. His first Premier League match as Spurs manager will be against Everton at Goodison Park. And that's a wrap on news now this hour. Thanks for watching. I am Perpetua Fasami Peter. To have a wonderful evening. Bye for now.
Powerful looks command respect, they say. The perfect body, the perfect grooming, and ultimately the perfect skin. Looks, style, and grooming makes the ultimate man. I've found a ridiculously easy way to make my skin always feel epic. My name is Neil. I found Blemiville, and now my skin finally makes sense.
enter market, just make you go buy fresh palm fruit. When you reach house, you go wash, you go pound, your body go dey pain you, even your fingernails go dey pain you. But make una no worry, make una relax. I get good news for una. Una don hear of Banga fresh palm fruit extract. All you need to do na make you go for the up, open am, take the amount wey you want, put am for your pot. Which soup you wan make? Shey na egusi, shey na ogbono, shey na vegetable, shey na banga. My sister no waste time again, my brother no waste time again. Just go buy Banga fresh palm fruit extract. They go know say you sabi cook and you be better cook.
Hello and welcome to Green 360 here on iBrandTV. Green 360, the world of agriculture. Now, before we go ahead, let's take a commercial break. You're watching Green 360, the world of agriculture on iBrandTV. Going forward, let's take this notable quote. George Washington, the American first president, was a political leader and statesman, founding father of the United States.
The maize plant is often 3 meters or about 10 feet in height, even though some natural strains can grow up to 13 meters, that is, 43 feet. The stem of the maize is commonly composed of 20 internodes of about 18 centimeters or 7 inches in length. The leaves arise from the nodes alternately on opposite sides on the stalk. A leaf which grows from each node is generally 9 centimeters or 3.5 inches in width and 120 centimeters, 3 feet 11 inches in length. Ears develop above a few of the leaves in the midsection of the plant between the stem and leaf sheath, elongating by around 3 millimeters or 1/8 inches per day to a length of 18 centimeters or 7 inches, with 60 centimeters or 24 inches being the maximum alleged in the subspecies. They are female inflorescence, tightly enveloped by several layers of ear leaves, commonly called husks. Certain varieties of maize have been bred to produce many additional developed ears. These are the source of the baby corn used as a vegetable in Asian cuisine. The apex of the stem ends in the tassel, an inflorescence of male flowers. When the tassel is mature and conditions are suitably warm and dry, anthers on the tassel dehisce and release pollen, which is dispersed by wind. And because of its large settling velocity, most pollen falls within a few meters of the tassel. Elongated stigmas, called silks, emerge from the whorl of husk leaves at the end of the ear. They are often pale yellow and 18 centimeters or 7 inches in length, like tufts of hair in appearance. At the end of each is a carpel, which may develop into a kernel if fertilized by a pollen grain. Maize is susceptible to drought, while it is intolerant of nutrient-deficient soil and prone to be uprooted by severe winds because of its shallow roots. An ear of maize commonly holds 600 kernels, and most common in white and yellow colors. However, there are various colors such as blackish, bluish-gray, green, and red. The grains are about the size of peas and adhere in regular rows around a white pithy substance which forms the ear. The maximum size of kernels is reputedly 2.5 centimeters or 1 inch. When ground into flour, maize yields more flour with much less bran than wheat does. However, it lacks the level of protein of wheat and therefore makes baked goods with poor rising capability. A genetic variant of maize that accumulates more sugar and less starch in the ear is consumed as a vegetable and is called sweet corn.
On the first part of this very episode, focusing on maize, you remember I promised you I'm going to come back with the second part. And here we are today. And of course, I still have with me here in the studio, Oluwa Jenyo Babs Olurinde. Welcome once again.
Thank you for having me again.
Okay, with the first part, we dealt with the cultivation of maize.
Yes.
And now let's go ahead with what happens after the cultivation. Shall we take a little look into the diseases and how to prevent them? That's talking about maize.
Yeah, the most common diseases for maize are actually maybe the root rot and let's say the leaf and the stem beetle. Apart from all those one, and probably the fungi can cause the yellow spots on the leaf. And just mainly it just prevents diseases from maize. It's easy. Just control your pesticides. Use your pesticides well and control your pesting and control your weeds. That's all for the controlling of pests in maize.
What about a farmer who doesn't have access to pesticides? Is there no other way we can get around it?
There is no other way to get around it. Actually, you need pesticides.
Are you trying to tell me that all these farmers in the rural areas,
yes,
they don't use pesticides?
No, everybody has access to pesticides. There are pests on every farm. There is no farm you will go to that you don't have a pest that actually literally going to feed on whatever you are planting. So if you are saying a farmer is going without pesticides, that's literally is allowing pests, is cultivating for the pests. It's actually working for the pests to feed on his harvest. Because the idea of pesticides is to protect your crops, and so you have your full profit to yourself and not you have some loss due to diseases and other stuff.
Okay, now let's talk about storage, which is another very important aspect of this whole process. How do we go about storing it? Because it's not all the time you harvest that you use up whatever you... Okay, so how do you go about storing?
Yeah, concerning storing, it depends on exactly what you are using your maize for.
Okay.
Personally, as just a farmer, I just get my crops from the farm and store them in the silos or in sack. I can't afford a silo right now, so I pile them up in sack and just put them somewhere.
When you say silo, not everybody out there understands. So what is silo?
Silos is like this big built basin, basically made for storing grains, legumes, cereals, anything that falls in the legumes of maize.
Is it chemicalized or something?
No. It's actually like a tank. It's actually, a silo is like a tank standing upright. It's kind of built like this and huts kind of thing. This Asian huts, the way huts are built, but it's all metal and it's actually standing like a tank, kind of like a reservoir thing. But we don't call it reservoir, we call it silos because it's actually storing grains, not water.
Which means you can also store things like beans,
yes,
rice.
Well, you not like to store beans because the beans weevil is very notorious. very notorious.
Oh, really?
very
so
notorious.
it is specifically meant for maize.
Yes, specifically meant for maize because once you pile up your maize, it's just there. There's no pest that's going to come for it unless it's opened. If it's not accessible, if maize is not accessible, maize is good to go. Like, it's there. Unlike yam, if you keep your yam accessible or not, there might be rots and there might be weevils that will actually come and feed on it. But for maize, you can actually keep in an enclosed place and it will be safe. Other cash crops, you can't really keep them in an enclosed place. They need air. They need air, but corn on its own, maize on its own, is actually airtight. It's an airtight crop. I told you need to put it in water for it to open up for you to sanitize. So that fact alone has made it safe for keeping. But if you don't use silos and you use sack, then things like lizard, rats.
Oh yeah.
Literally
can easily destroy the sack and then access it.
I can access it.
Yes.
So that's why most old people who are mainly into using the maize for pap and stuff like that, they'll prefer to like grind them before storing. So that's another way for storing it.
What's the difference there? When you grind them, they are more durable or something. I don't get.
No, actually the grinding is because it's actually a safer way for keeping. When you grind it, you can actually keep it in an enclosed place. Cassava on its own is actually very acidic.
Okay.
So when you keep it somewhere and you cover it, it actually ferments. And fermenting is actually one of the things that we need in the processing of cassava.
But here we're talking about maize.
Yeah, I'm just actually giving an example.
Okay.
So when it comes to maize now, when they grind them, they actually keep them somewhere so that they won't ferment in a container that is closed. The idea of keeping them in a container that is closed is because you are losing it because the rats are eating them and the other stuff are eating them. So when you grind them, they are this kind of semi-liquid form and very easy to keep. They'll actually take this container of the shape of the storage container. So it's not something that a rat will even be enticed to even come and check on. Animals are actually attracted to the corn before, might not be attracted to it again.
I see. All right, now let's talk about the value chain of maize, like the several forms in which maize could be used. Some people use it for making pap.
Yeah, maize has many byproducts. As a matter of fact, they even use the shafts that they peel off from the corn. Maize is actually kind of used as a storage system too. There is after they remove all those shafts away from the maize, you can actually preserve it. You can actually use it to preserve things like yam.
Wow.
Because actually when you put it, the leaf is actually going to be the covering. It's going to be like the protection of the yam, but you can never have enough shafts to protect enough yam. So you understand? So it's not really something that people actually really do, because you don't have enough corn shafts to keep the yam in check. Probably it's just kind of a waste of time, because at the end of the day, the shafts will actually still dry off and you are left with the yam.
Okay.
So that's why it's not really an option, but for a short while, you can actually stack your corn shafts, and again, you can actually use it for your poultry instead of your normal
poultry feed.
No, your regular sawdust.
Okay.
So using sawdust, you could use
but sawdust, poultry, that's the fowls, they don't eat sawdust.
No, they are not eating it. They actually.
But they eat this. They can eat this one. They can eat the maize.
No, we are not talking about the maize itself. The body.
Okay.
The shaft outside. The part you peel off.
Right, I get what you're talking about.
The actual part you peel off.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right. Now, what about the maize itself? It can be used in several ways.
Yes, it can be used in several ways. Basically, most used for is, in this our area, is actually probably the pap.
Now, let's talk about feed. poultry feed.
Okay.
Poultry feed now is very, very expensive and very scarce. Poultry farmers all over the place are complaining.
Yeah.
So is it that maize is scarce?
The thing is, when it comes to poultry, it's not as if the maize is scarce. Maize is just like the main component of a poultry feed. The actual components of a poultry feed is made up of is nutrients. So the corn is just like the rice. The other nutrients are like what makes up the poultry feed. Any animal can actually feed on corn. What makes a poultry feed different from a regular corn?
Yes.
Is the components with the corn. So it's not actually the corn that is expensive. It's the components that will make up the poultry feed with the corn.
Okay.
That is actually expensive.
I see.
The meal, the feed meal, the fish meal.
Yes, yes.
Things like that are actually the things that are expensive. The idea of corn, the corn is just get a carb, get a notable quantity, grind it. The first stage of your poultry feed is ready. But you cannot just feed that. If you are feeding them that, you're just feeding them food, regular food. But you need them to grow.
All right.
Maybe you want a layer or you need a broiler. So it's actual, the components are what make, the maize is just the main thing. But the components is actually what is expensive that actually makes up.
Which means maize is available.
Maize is readily available.
It's not scarce.
It's not scarce, it's readily available.
Good to hear. That is a very positive one there. We'll come back to finish this thing. We've already started, and that will be directly after this short break. Yeah, you're still watching Green 360 here on iBrandTV Lagos. We'll take a breather here and come back to finish off what we've already started. You're welcome back. It's still Green 360 on iBrandTV Lagos, and we are discussing maize. With me here still is Jenyo Babs, an agriculturist. We're back. Let's continue from where we stopped now. Let's talk about distribution of maize. For instance, you are done with the harvesting. Yeah. How do you go about ensuring that these things get to the market? What are the challenges you encounter?
The challenges we encounter are actually not that much, because once you get your products, the market that you sell is already there. People that will get it are already there.
Already there and waiting.
Already there and waiting. As a matter of fact, some people might actually even go down to your farmlands with you and even pick it directly from your farm, so that they won't have people that will share. Some people actually will follow you to your farm so that they know they will actually get it from you. They know they don't have any competition. Like, okay, if I take it from here, you want to go and sell, maybe not tell me that you have someone that you sell to, or no, I will follow you. So as soon as it's a ton, I'm getting a ton from you. They do that too. Or some people just have a fixed chain already that, okay, my product is going to this so place. Maybe those that are linked with companies. Okay, as soon as I get my product, I'm taking my product to so place. Or the little ones, I get my product and I sell it to retail. When I get my product, I sell it to the retailer, like the last retailer, like those that probably want to cook and sell in their house, or cook just for personal consumption, so they don't get a large number. Those are all those ones I sell to. So there are different chains of how. It depends on exactly the amounts you are talking about. I cannot say I want to sell a ton to a last retailer.
Okay, no. That would be too much. Yes.
So it still depends on what you're harvesting, what quantity you're talking about, before you know who or how you're going to get to the person.
All right, now, for somebody who is, you said maize is a good starting point.
Yes.
For a young farmer, a new farmer.
Yes.
Can you take us back there? Why did you say this is the most advisable way to go for a new farmer if you want to start
basically,
farming?
It's because of the time. It's because of the time. Everybody wants to make,
from cultivation
yes,
to harvest.
Yes, everybody wants to make profit as quick as possible, and as quick as possible means you can make that with maize. 3 months. That's quite something anybody can work with, on like 9-11 months. So if you venture into maize, there's probability that the next 3 months you get your returns. It's not really like that for others. So if you advise someone that is a new farmer,
yes,
it's preferably for him to start with maize. So the time, the frustration and everything, you get to work with it. You won't be so much into the time of I have to wait for 6 months, I have to wait for 4 months, because you are just starting and you need to make money fast. So that's why maize is good.
How lucrative, how profitable is maize?
Well, farming generally is lucrative.
The way you're smiling shows that you must be making a lot of money out of maize farming.
Farming is lucrative.
Generally speaking.
Generally.
Okay, let's narrow it down to maize, yes.
Okay, now let me break it down. Let me put figures on it. I have 1 acre. I bought my seed for like maybe 3,000.
Okay.
Then
that's a very good one. Let's go that way.
Yeah. Then I got my labor to work for me for the planting for like 10,000. I've spent 13,000.
Yes.
Then let me say I get my pesticides and all my nurturing. Let me spend an average of 10,000. I can't spend like up to that, but let's just say I spent 10,000. I've spent over like 23,000.
Yes.
Now, if I want to sell a ton will be going for almost like, is it not 60,000?
My goodness. Now, can 1 acre produce a ton?
1 acre will produce 3 tons. Or 2.5.
Wait a minute. Let's not talk about the amount you spent getting the land. Okay? Now, roughly you've spent 23,000. Okay, let's say 25,000 in cultivating, and then that will take it to the harvest time.
Yes.
Then at the end of the day, you're making like 3 tons.
Yes.
And 1 ton goes for like how much? 60,000?
Yes.
My goodness.
Yes.
That much?
That much.
Are you there? Did you hear this?
That much.
Spending 25,000 naira, and in 3 months, you are making 60,000 times
or more.
3. That's like 100 and...
Yeah.
My goodness. That's quite lucrative. So what are you waiting for? Okay, now, is the government doing anything at all in this regard, talking about helping to promote? We're talking about the huge profit now. That's
like I said, the governments are always releasing aids. There's aids here and there, but it's not always accessible. That's just the problem. The accessibility of these aids is actually is a problem. It's a big problem. Like, we can go online, there's like that, different kind of aids, the government doing this, the government doing that, but nothing is actually really getting to the
So since
farmer.
you started this maize farming, you've never got any assistance, from...
No.
But you have nothing to complain about because you keep smiling to the bank.
Yeah, I don't have anything to complain about.
So see, I'm thrilled. I'm really excited about the huge profits one could make from maize. What do you have to tell the person out there?
Well, to everybody listening and watching, agriculture is a good thing.
No, talking about maize.
Yeah. Agriculture is a good thing to start with.
Okay.
And you have to put that in mind for you to even venture into any of them. You have to know that you are working as an agriculturalist to start. To start your work, you have to know that you are doing this. You have to put your mind and know what you are doing. As soon as that is done, everything will fall in place. That's what I believe.
You keep smiling to the bank. like Genyo Babs. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
We'll come your way again and make sure that the smiles on your face, that smile stays on your face. That's when we'll come with another very interesting edition of Green 360 here on iBrandTV. Until then, this is Michael Nath. Bye-bye.
My name is Tosin Pedro.
Your show glass boyfriend, Smooth Prince. I go by the name Kelvin Budge, aka Laylo.
Hi, my name is Elfrida.
My name is Phil, aka the commercial guy.
I go by the name Mix Kid. I'm happy to be here. My name is Desmond Kid. I'm a comedian.
And keep watching
iBrandTV
because it's a big TV. Don't off that TV.
Stay tuned, don't go nowhere.
We're just a step into the weekend, and I'm glad to join you or have you join us this beautiful Thursday morning. Good morning. I hope you had a pleasant light rest, because I did. And welcome to iBrand Daybreak. My name is Margaret Opera, and today we have with us in the studio
Perpetual Fashion Repeater. Wonderful morning to you. How do you do today?
How do you do too, Perpetual?
Very well,
All right, thank you. You look amazing. Your gown, it's beautiful. Perpetual,
my signature dance.
That you never know how to dance when you stand up, okay?
Oh, please.
All right, Pep, yeah.
Okay, it's a beautiful Thursday morning. Glad to be here with you, and I guess you're having a wonderful time with us right here on iBrand Daybreak. Okay, so for today, you know what to expect. We'll start with the news update. And after that, we'll have the newspaper review. We have the topic of discussion, and then we have the social media buzz. All this lined up for your entertainment, your enjoyment, and just for you this beautiful morning on your favorite television. Okay, so very quickly, I'll be starting with the news update this morning. Maybe you start that for us.
Yeah, all right. I'll just start with the story here. Says the Lagos State Fire and Rescue Service has completely averted the looming danger of gas leakage at the Ikeja axis of the state. The incident, which was reported on Wednesday at 7:14 hours, occurred in front of Awolowo House, Awolowo Way, Inward Obakran Avenue in Ikeja. This led to the deployment of a Lausa fire crew to douse the gas fumes. On arrival at the scene, the crew discovered that a gas pipeline belonging to GasLink was accidentally punctured and started gushing out. In a bid to forestall any secondary incidents, the fumes emanating from the gas leakage was blanketed with a chemical foam compound. Just as the area was swiftly cordoned off the traffic, diverted while inhabitants were sensitized not to make naked fire. The situation has been brought under control as the gas pipeline has been depressurized.
And here we have the death toll in a 21-story building that collapsed on Monday on Gerard Road in the Ikoyi area of Lagos State has increased to 21. The building crumbled around 2 p.m. when workers were on the site. Yet to be established number of people were trapped on the rubble, including the managing director, Fourscore Heights Limited, Femi Oshibono, who owned the building. The state governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who described the incident as a national disaster on Wednesday, confirmed that 21 persons were brought out dead from the rubble. Some families searching for their loved ones on Wednesday lamented that they were denied access to the mainland hospital mortuary Yaba, where the recovered bodies were taken to.
Moving on, the Pension Transition Arrangement Directorate, PTAD, has begun another round of biometric verification exercise for about 21,000 federal government pensioners who were not verified during the exercise held in 2019 in the southwest region of the country but were bona fide pensioners. While speaking with newsmen in Ibadan at the biometric verification of pensioners who retired from the Federal Civil Service, the Executive Secretary of PITAD, Dr. Chioma Ejikeme, stated that the exercise was basically for federal government pensioners who were left out for one reason or the other in the 2019 exercise held in the southwest.
Governor Phil Murphy has become the first Democratic governor in more than 4 decades to win, narrowly surviving a closer than expected race that dragged well past Election Day. Murphy's victory over Republican nominee Jack Albert Slim defied the state's trend of voting in the party out of the White House in its off-year gubernatorial contests. Virginia, the only other with odd-year gubernatorial elections, held to that historical pattern on Tuesday, electing Republican Glenn Youngkin in a resounding blow to Democrats who had made recent gains in the state. But like Virginia, the results in New Jersey and other states that President Joe Biden carried by double digits in 2020 are raising alarms for Democrats who will be fighting to hold on to the suburbs in next year's midterm elections.
All right, now that's it on our news update at this hour. We'll take a short break now. When we come back, we'll review some top stories on the national dailies this morning. Stay with us.
Most people don't understand the magic of a perfect skin, the allure of a well-pampered skin. We bounce from skincare products to skincare products, from spa to spa. Looking for that ideal solution. I found the solution. And it's Blemiville Skincare and Spa. My name is Neil, and I'm proud to be a part of the Blemiville family.
Mama.
Thanks for staying with us. We're moving right now to the newspaper review, and I will start with this story on Daily Sun. This reads, Red Alert in Abuja. Soldiers mount roadblocks, conduct stop and search over feared planned attack. Business activities grounded as troops look for kidnapped lecturers. Again, gunmen attack Uni Abuja. Another story here says, Anambra, US threatens visa ban on election violence sponsors. And we have riders here that read, INEC vows to prosecute offenders, vote bias, abolishes incident forms. And we also have IG orders withdrawal of security details around politically exposed persons. Still on the Daily Sun this morning, Lagos building collapse, more heads to roll, and that's coming from the governor of Lagos State, Sanwo-Olu. We have a rider here that says, gives panel 30 days to submit report as death toll hits 29. Another rider, tension in Ikeja over gas leakage. Some other stories still here. We have Northern Elders reject special trial for Kanu, and we have a rider vow to cooperate with others to produce competent leader in 2023. And then gunmen kill 2 policemen in Rivers, and we have absence of EFCC counsel stalls Desani's trial. That's all on the Daily Sun this morning.
And now we'll move to the Nation. The screaming headline here says, collapsed Lagos building, government to punish offenders, with the writer saying Sanwo-Olu names promises tough action. Probe panel setup, Death toll now 24. Further down to the bottom stream says, NURTW louds Oyetola's performance. Governor gets endorsement, and that's on page 7. Gunmen abduct minors in Kwara. Buni others weighed in Oyo APC crisis. Now we move to the earpiece of the paper says, Nuts elders on 2023 votes competent, honest leaders. World Bank government asked government to curb inflation. That's on the business scene. Improve exchange rate. Gas leakage scare in Lagos. JAM remits 3.51 billion naira as operating surplus. 162 back from Libya. Umuf again says sugar processing attracts 250 billion naira investments. And finally, on the nation says credit government needs 7 trillion naira to fix 854 roads. And writer saying Lagos to Ibadan East-West Road for completion next year. You could get more stories on the page 28 of the nation.
Moving now to the Punch newspaper this morning, the story is about the Ikoyi building and it reads, Death toll rises as Lagos probes collapse, owner, pastor missing. Building project sponsors were about unknown, Sanwo-Olu named survivors. 15-story building plan approved, not 21, stated by Deputy Governor, and then document shows. All right, moving away from that story, so on the Punch newspaper, NBA Petitions Commission panel over Malami magistrates rose in Odili's home raid. Council battle over final forfeiture of $899,600 found in Abuja apartment. Another one, this is on page 22 of the Punch newspaper, and it reads, Army roadblocks return. Terrorists, kidnappers lay siege to Federal Capital Territory FCT. Anambra decides 2021, heavy security deployment not to intimidate voters, and that's coming from Inspector General of the Police. US threatens visa ban, others on poll violence sponsors. And still on the Punch newspaper for today, Abuja invaders demand 300 million naira for abducted professors' family members. Ekiti woman jailed 10 years for assaulting pregnant neighbor, forcing labor. Subsidy payment cost 864.07 billion naira in 9 months, and that's according to NNPC report. And finally here, we have Abiodun gifts OAU record-setting medical graduate house 5 million naira and scholarship.
Well, I like that story, the last story there. Oh, I will just move to The Guardian, which is, of course, the last paper for the review this morning. It says, of course, that's a picture of the collapsed Ikoyi building. Sadly, it made most of the headlines today. That's picture, it graced some of the headlines. And the top part says editorial saying federalism is the answer after all. And that's the 54th episode of this editorial. And moving further down, says government to blame for outrageous freight charges by foreign firms. With the writer saying high freight cost jacks up petrol price, not subsidy, WASA insists. Over 45 billion US dollar cargo costs lost to foreign firms in 5 years. No Nigerian-owned cargo ships berthing on our waters, says Brown. Sadly, NISA moves to set up $500 million maritime fund by 2022 to acquire assets for operation. Shore up trade balance with export expansion grants at DEFACO urged. And moving further down, again, gunmen invade Abuja despite increased security patrol in the Federal Capital Territory. Africa loses 8.8 trillion naira yearly to 94% importation on pharmaceutical and medicinal needs. Page 4 has a story. ICPC DSS arrests 48 lecturers over security officers' orders over exam leakage. That's on page 5. And finally, UPU to prune Guba aspirants in Delta Central to 2. That's on page 9 of the Guardian paper. Perpetual, like I said before, the headline that grieves most of the papers, and for weeks, rather for days now, because the month just started, it's the collapsed Ikoyi building. Now the death toll has been rising, and the fact that there are no specific figures we are hearing today is this figure, and the next day is this figure, and of course the governor of Lagos State has promised that more heads would roll and to punish more offenders. And about you were saying something before the show about the integrity test, it was you.
Oh, yes.
But the thing I asked you, remember, why did they have to wait for the building to collapse before deciding to conduct integrity
test? Okay, so talking
tests?
about the integrity test, we saw a report on one of the papers, I guess, that said that moving forward for buildings that are up to 5 stories, that integrity test will be carried out on them. And for me, I remember this conversation has been on really talking about the integrity test and all of these things. I really sometimes I wonder, I shudder at some of the decisions we make as humans. You want to make more money, then ensure that you put in the right thing.
Correct.
If you want to reap, bountifully, then you sow bountifully.
Correct.
So you don't get approval for 15-story building, and then you tell yourself you want to make that 21. Why exactly are you doing that? Aren't you learned? Don't you understand the implication of this? Now, even if the owner of the building is greedy, what about the people who are in charge of ensuring that approvals are followed? There was this conversation when it started. I was just wondering, if I was the one who got an approval for a 2-story building and I decide to erect a 3-story building, I can assure you that in a week that building is going to be marked, and if care is not taken, a bulldozer is probably going to be parked in front of my property.
Said that on the show.
Do you understand? So the question is, why is it that we have people who can get away with certain things? For crying out loud, we shouldn't have gotten to this point if the right thing was done. It's like crying, I wouldn't just call it crying over spilled milk, but it's like you see what you're supposed to do, you don't do it. Now, if this building didn't collapse, we're not going to be having this conversation.
That's just my point now, because now you're talking about integrity tests and before a building like that will be erected, I'm sure there's some tests that should be carried out, the soil test, integrity, of course. But now the question is, the governor had already ordered that this building be to stop work on this building, and after a while they started again. So who gave the counter order given by the governor, who is supposed to be the head of that state? Well, just like you said, sometimes people wait for the medicine after that. You wait for the harm to be done before you start administering treatment, which really should have been avoided rather than treating.
I like the fact that herds are going to roll. Beg your pardon. Yeah. That means that if there are people who are supposed to be sacked, they're going to be sacked. If there are people who are supposed to be, whatever it is that's supposed to be done, I also heard that someone has been suspended. Yeah. But if you ask me, I'll say, what suspension? We're talking about lives. We're talking about people's investments. You're talking, what's a suspension? That's nothing compared to what we're having here. But I'm just glad that heads are going to roll, and this is supposed to serve as deterrent to other people, to know that we cannot continue like this. If there is a building, if there is a plan, that plan should be followed through, and that is it.
All right, yeah, correct. We would have loved to touch one of the stories on the red alert in Abuja, but then, well, I'll just briefly say that in Abuja residents, please be very safe, and those things on social media, Nigerians are saying that if the Federal Capital Territory, which is supposed to be the seat of power of the nation, is not safe, then what happens to the layman, the normal person walking on the streets on other states? So now you see gunmen invading Uni Abuja in Gwangala and taking some lecturers and demanding 300 million. Such audacity, perpetual in a country like Nigeria. Oh well, I'm sure you have something to say.
It's my
briefly.
It's just my hope that we do something about insecurity in Nigeria. I think we've had this conversation before about paying lip service and all of that. I think we really need to do something. Our president needs to ensure that the security chiefs are doing the needful. We need to see results. We need to see results.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm still very optimistic about all of this. I'm still very optimistic that Nigeria would rise again, and we would go to the promised land. I'm sure Perpetual shares in that optimism with me. Yeah, I'm sure you do. You should, right? All right, then we'll take a short break now. When we come back, we have a very interesting topic we would not like you to miss. You can't even afford to miss this topic. Pep is already dancing on her seat right now. I'm sure you want to listen and know what the topic's about. We'll be right back.
Swift Dry Cleaners Limited, professional dry cleaners, best in dry cleaning and laundry services, that meets the needs of our consumers. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Yeah, for clean wash and quick delivery. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. For clean wash and quick delivery.
Swift Dry Cleaners. Clean wash, quick delivery.
True unripe plantain flour is 100% natural flour gotten from the processing of unripe plantain. It contains no addictive and has a net content of 500 grams. True unripe plantain flour contains vitamin A, B6 and C. It is gluten-free and rich in calcium. Consuming true unripe plantain flour helps to build and strengthen stronger bones and can be a great meal for diabetic patients. It decreases your chances of constipation as it has a high fiber content and provides you with a low-fat diet. Here are some steps to prepare your true unripe plantain flour. Firstly, mix true unripe plantain flour with hot water in a pot and gradually add water till you achieve desired thickness. Place over medium heat and turn very well for 4 to 5 minutes to get the right texture. Mold into a ball and place in a bowl and allow to cool. Serve with your choice of soup. True unripe plantain flour can be eaten with any variety of soup, be it your ofe oha, ofe onugbu, begiri, ewedu, or your miyan kuka. To get your true unripe plantain flour, contact us at 12 Olowera Isheri Road by First Welder bus stop off Omole Phase 2, Olowera, Lagos, Nigeria, or call 070-6663-8213 or 081-6397-4447. Distributors are needed nationwide.
Oh boy, winning you was so easy.
I just couldn't stand those your powerful shots. That's what happened.
Really? Let's go to my place for dinner.
This fufu is so nice.
It's true unripe plantain flour.
True unripe plantain flour is delicious.
Yes, true unripe plantain flour is what I serve my husband for swallows. It's easy to prepare, fortified with vitamin A, low in sugar and cholesterol, rich in fiber that helps the heart, builds and strengthens the bone, and his energy level is boosted.
True unripe plantain flour, no additives, 100% natural, a product of Pali Agro Products Nigeria. True unripe plantain flour, available in all leading stores nationwide.
Most people don't understand the magic of a perfect skin, the allure of a well-pampered skin. We bounce from skincare products to skincare products, from spa to spa. Looking for that ideal solution. I found the solution. And it's Blemiviv Skincare and Spa. My name is Neil, and I'm proud to be a part of the Blemiviv family.
Mama, you're coming to Lagos. Banga. Baby, Mama just called me now. She's coming to see you. She asked me to tell you to make banga soup for her. And she's close to the house. Oh.
How do you expect me to prepare banga in just few minutes?
I have a solution for you.
Really?
sabi cook the banga. You no go enter my family.
Pali banga is used in making other exotic dishes such as banga jollof rice, banga eforiro, banga asaro or yam porridge, banga egusi, and many more. Pali banga is easy to open, no preservatives, no cholesterol, and no coloring. Approved by NAFDAC. Manufactured by Pali Agro Products Limited. Available in all leading stores and supermarkets nationwide.
Pali banga, natural palm fruit extract for tasty African cuisine.
Welcome back to the segment we've all been waiting for. Oftentimes, people assume cheating means an end to a relationship, but that's not always the case. In today's world, continuing a relationship with someone who participated in cheating can be quite controversial. Infidelity steals the foundation on which at least one person in the relationship found their solid, safe place to be. It calls everything into question. Who we believe we are, what we believe we had, our capacity to love, to trust, and our faith in our judgment. We have in the studio a media practitioner, Charles Idaho, and then we'll be having this conversation with him. Good morning.
Thank you for having me.
Good morning, Charles.
Yeah, thank you.
Good to have you on board.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
You know, it's a bit weird. I wouldn't say it's a bit weird, but you know, I always know him as politics, you know, analyst, seasoned analyst, but now you're talking about love. I think that shows that you are multifaceted. Yeah.
But the question is, I'm also in love.
Oh.
So you can't take it.
I love that.
Correct.
I'm also in love.
All right.
Okay, so
yes.
Cheating in a relationship, be it marriage or okay, I think do you think we should just focus on marriage?
Well,
both.
It could both. I'm not married yet. You are married.
So you don't want to short her out.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, that's true.
Relationship, marriage is a relationship.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's right.
So cheating in relationships, what's your view? What's your take on it?
Well, I think it's a break. It's a downer, if you will, because when you are committed to someone in a relation, a partner, you're expected to be of bad behavior, best conduct, and all that, because somebody who has given his word to say, I am committed to this relationship. You have built a bond. It's like you have submitted your independence to that person, and vice versa, right? But so when one of the partners cheats, what it means is that you're not committed to the relationship, because out of all, if for instance a lady cheats, out of all the men in our society, you zeroed in on that man and accepted the man's proposal to be with you. And what you have done in essence by default is that I am with you. All right, my body and my soul are for you. So I have no other thing to do outside here, because like you are building a hedge or building a fence around both of you. That fence keeps you in. So the fence has no access to other people outside that fence have no access into the interior that you have built around yourself. So if you have cheated, which means you have given a key to an outsider to have access to that fence we have built for yourself. What you have done is that it's like you allow a thief to come in to steal what belongs to somebody else. Same thing opposite to if you have committed to a lady or a wife or so, and then you are still cheating, then it means that you are not mature, because anybody who's mature knows that there's a commitment in between both of you, and that commitment needs to be respected. So if you have cheated, it means that you don't respect your partner. It means that you have no full commitment in that relationship. Relationship is supposed to be a bond, bring it together. As I said, you bring in what you got. The center has pulled you back, both of you together. You remain in that center, and you have common. What is it? Common front, common everything, common shared values, shared interests, and all that.
Yes, please.
You're not supposed to share the value outside that relationship. Exactly. So that's why I say when people cheat, they're not committed. I think that's just making us say.
Before we go into this question of if you can take back a cheating partner, and as much as I believe that there's no justification for cheating, I would like to ask.
No, there are justifications.
Okay. Why do you think people cheat? Why do people cheat?
Well, if you, I may not call it justification, because it cannot be justified.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Because what we can say, what are the factors responsible?
Okay.
There are multiple factors, but I would narrow them to a few. Let's give maybe Mary and Charles, for instance, a relationship. maybe Charles is. I'm a very media. I'm in the media, so I'm a public person, if you will. Then I have Mary, who, for instance, as I'm here, I have people who maybe ladies who admire me. Some of them want to say, "Oh, I wish I could be with this guy." You know. Now it now behoves me to want to give in to such things because I'm in the public domain. Doesn't necessarily mean I have to misbehave.
Okay.
You want because I'm committed to someone else. Now, Mary might feel insecure to say this Charles is just ladies' man over there. Maybe whenever calls will come, people will say, oh, maybe people will just hail me, you know. So she feels insecure. This man, am I even sure that there's something in him for me? If you are not married, yes.
Okay.
So then, how about myself? I am not always giving her attention, so she feels unloved because I'm always there, here and there. When I'm busy, you know. I don't give her that. You know, every woman, whether I like it or not, every woman deserves attention. They always like to be attended to. For instance, I give you an example. I shared it on the social media, and for about 5 days the tea trended. My wife did a hairstyle. I personally call it a color separation. You know, this one she had a haircut, and then they had these different colors in it. It was very beautiful. I didn't see that hair.
You didn't see it?
I didn't see it.
Okay.
For 48 hours, I didn't notice the difference.
Whoa.
But she was angry. So are you saying that you saw there's no deep? Because I was very busy.
Oh, wow.
Then I had to be thinking of deadlines and headlines and all that. So I now put it on the social media. I put a picture. It was a very beautiful picture. I said, ladies and gentlemen, this was the color separation I failed to see in 48 hours. People came hard on me. Don't even do this way. How could you say, where are your eyes? What did you do? It trended for about 5 days. Now, if we were not married, if a married woman who was supposed to have security now was feeling bad that I didn't see her hair for me.
I'm sure she was flaunting it for you to see.
She will walk there, she will go here, she will go here, she will go here. You understand?
Yeah.
So I didn't see it.